What's up, Tim Sykes here. This is gonna be an interesting video lesson talking about current plays, showing like literally my crazy schedule, my crazy life. Wherever I am in the world, I'm always trying to teach. I'm always trying to trade. Some people say just stay in one place, you can make more money, you can be a better teacher. No and no. I actually trade better on the road. I have an over trading problem when I'm on perfect Wi-Fi or I'm not jet lagged. Secondly, I love traveling. I'm not one of these fakes who, reads like a script from somebody else and, these people who have never made millions themselves and they're trying to teach others about something they've never personally achieved. I have made millions trading. I'm very proud to be real in an industry full of fakes. So I'm going to live my life the way I want to. I don't have to teach. I like teaching, but I also like traveling and doing charity. So I'm going to combine all of this. And I think it is better for my trading, but it's just my life. Like, again, I have to reinforce this. I'm not trying to be an ass, but I don't have to teach. I enjoy it. I enjoy changing people's lives. I enjoy teaching these strategies that no one else teaches. I enjoy focusing on this niche that pretty much all of Wall Street ignores. I enjoy teaching people who trade with small accounts, a whole niche which Wall Street ignores. Why do people ignore them, you might ask? Well, people with small accounts usually know the least, they have the least experience, they have the least discipline, and they're also the most whiny, they're the most degenerate. And it's like, why would you want to deal with this? Wall Street is all about trading with as most money as possible, managing tons of money, taking little expense fees, wearing like power suits, crafting this whole story, not mentioning that the vast majority of money managers, the people that you see on CNBC, they don't even outperform the S&P 500, which goes up a lousy 8 to 10% per year. So understand, it's a whole industry of fakes and just hype. I don't even know what to say. And I'm not bitter. I just want you to understand what this industry is and what it isn't. If you have millions of dollars or tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, I would just invest in the S&P 500. 8 to 10% per year is probably the best that you can do on average. There's so many investments, but most investments are scams, frauds, they don't work out, the odds of success are low. 8 to 10% per year, if you have big amounts of money, is very good. But this brings me to the point of dealing with people who have small amounts of money, okay? I want you to understand 8 to 10% per year if you have $500, $2,000, $5,000, even $10,000. You're making a few $100s per year. I know, compounding 20, 30, 50 years from now, it might be meaningful money, but you're wasting decades on a strategy that's made for big accounts. I want you to learn to utilize your small account. I want you to learn to maximize your small account. Almost everyone looks at a small account as a disadvantage. I'm teaching a strategy where only small accounts really can succeed. If you have too big of an account, you can't trade the volatility. The big account is actually a huge disadvantage in my niche. And I want you to understand that everyone wants to be my next millionaire student, but they don't understand that people with millions of dollars trade very differently than those people with small accounts. And you can't mix, okay? I love my millionaire students, people like Tim Grittani, amazing, 1,500 now into nearly 15 million, but people who try his strategy, if you have a small account, they get obliterated. So I am like this kind of like vampire teacher where I'm stuck, right? If you ever saw an Interview with a Vampire, Kirsten Dunst is like bitter because she's always a child, she can never grow up. I'm stuck teaching people with small accounts. I trade with a small account. I'm proud to donate all my trading profits to charity to help you understand why it's good to trade with a small account. For me, teaching trading for charity makes it more meaningful. Otherwise, I'd be bored trading with a small account because frankly, I don't need to, but I do it for you. So in this video, we're going to talk about a lot of these supernovas that are popping off. Some traders take the month of July and the month of August off. July and August has been on fire this year. I would never take any month off just because you think you should. Like, oh, this month is going to be slow. Take whatever opportunity you can. If you have a small account, you don't have an option to take time off. You need to learn. You need to earn. If you take time off, you're wasting opportunity, okay? Every one of us is fighting time. Those of you with small accounts, you don't know that much. You're playing a game of catch up, okay? We've been playing this game for decades. This game has been going on for centuries, actually. I'm still playing catch up after a quarter of a century. But if you're just starting now, you're playing a game of catch up. So let me help speed up your education. I'm going to post a link to the conference. We only have a few pre-sale tickets left, early bird special tickets. Come to my conference October 26th and October 27th in Vegas. Come trade with me live in person along with over a dozen of my millionaire students. We're all going to be trading live, answering questions. It's amazing to see everybody in person. Vegas, October 26th and 27th. Can you put like a little graphic? There's only a few early bird tickets left. If you click the link below, I'll post the link. Let me get started with this video. I got to give a challenge webinar in an hour and a half, so it might be a little rushed. All right. Woo! Let's do this. All right. Good morning, everybody. So many plays. The end of August is usually very slow in the stock market. Not right now. We're seeing supernova after supernova after supernova. I got to bring up a few, key blog posts. This is a blog post that I'll link in the section below, the pitfalls of shorting supernovas. People are asking why are there so many supernovas right now? There are so many short sellers. And I have to apologize. A lot of it is my fault. If you know like Rick Barry or Rick O'Barry, he's the one who trained Flipper. Do you know about Rick O'Barry? Yeah. Pascal's here. Say hi, Pascal.
Hey, everybody.
Rick Barry or Rick O'Barry. Can you look it up?
Yeah.
I should know his name by now. Yeah. He trained Flipper. The TV show was a big hit. Everyone wanted to play with dolphins. Now he's like, I hate that I trained Flipper because now there's so many dolphins in captivity. I used to short sell, okay? I don't hate it because I made millions. Is it Rick O'Barry? Rick O'Barry. If you Google Rick O'Barry and the Dolphins. I don't hate that I shorted supernovas, but I've learned that newbies cannot time short selling supernovas. And because I don't do this anymore, because I don't teach this, the people who do teach short selling, they don't understand the risks. They don't understand how undisciplined, how inexperienced newbies are. And newbies just want to make millions. They see a lot of my top students shorting supernovas. You don't realize how risky it is. So I'm sorry that I introduced this idea. I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry that I'm not there to teach it right now because I warn against it every single day. But the people who do teach it now, they don't understand the risks. So I apologize on their behalf, even though they don't realize what they're doing is so bad. But it is. Anyways, I'll link this, the pitfalls of shorting supernovas. It's what has spiked plays like AXLA and ICCT. Freaking crazy. 2 to 40 in 2 days. And now it's coming down. But this is a classic short squeeze. I'll also link below. We just have a few hours left for this early bird ticket for my conference, October 26th and 27th. Come to Las Vegas. Come to Las Vegas, okay? I'm not saying partake in the low odds games that Vegas offers and the money that they make. I mean, this fountain, like I make a joke where all of the water that you see in Vegas, it's like the tears of degenerate gamblers, whether it's the water of the Venetian or the fountains at Fontainebleau or Caesar's Palace, or maybe this is the Venetian. I don't know. We're doing it at the Palms Casino this year, October 26th and 27th, 2 days of live trading. We have over a dozen millionaires there. Along with myself, you can, go to this page. I'll link this page so you can see all the details. But we only have a few early bird tickets left. The price will go up. It will sell out. I'm just offering this to you. I want you to come to Las Vegas. You can also get your early bird ticket and you can tune in from anywhere in the world if you can't come to Vegas. But I highly encourage you to see this stuff live. Let me get to my trade so that you can learn right now. I'm still closing in on 7.5 million. I've been under it for a little while. I had that undisciplined trade a few months ago. I'm still trading small, but now up over 38 grand, nearly quadruple off my lows. So, I know many of you look at like total dollar amounts. I know there are many traders who make like 38 grand in a day. Again, they're trading with big accounts. They're shorting with a lot of money, with a lot of experience. You cannot replicate that with a small account. I would be very, very, very scared okay, and very careful. The way that I'm growing my accounts is trading these small plays, these supernovas, in a very conservative way. And I was wrong, frankly, because they're scary. I had a loss on NAOV at first. I bought it too quickly. I'll go into that. Also, I should mention Jeff Zananiri, another guy. This is actually tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern as I'm filming this. Sorry, too much stuff is going on. I'll post a link to this. He's a big hedge funder, and literally his hedge fund grew 13,625% with a very niche strategy. We have this free presentation that's going live tonight, and I think you should tune in on that. As I'm filming this, the world premiere is in 12 hours. By the time I get this up, it'll be even less. It's free, okay? Again, you can learn any strategy you want. You try any strategy you want. I encourage you to try different strategies, but just recognize that it's niche strategies that are best for small accounts. Whether you learn from Jeff Zananiri, and I think he's a great guy, or you trade these low price supernovas, it's actually amazing. I should mention, there's E-Trade is merging with Morgan Stanley right now. It's actually really annoying. The next few days, I know I'm going to get a ton of questions about this. Everyone's accounts are going to be messed up. When E-Trade merges with Morgan Stanley, or when Thinkorswim got bought out by TD Ameritrade, it's a mess for a few days. Apparently E-Trade, they're changing the account numbers. Like, I guess I was talking to some rep yesterday, and it's, what is it? 8-figure accounts or 7-figure, like you have an account number and they're adding an extra number because Morgan Stanley uses a different system. Just expect madness. And I think that's part of the reason why ICCT is spiking so huge. When brokers merge, when you're trying to sell shares, sometimes they don't recognize the symbol. So if you're trying to sell shares, sometimes it turns into a short. And so I think some people, and I've heard this story, I don't know, I can't confirm it, but I've heard that some people were shorting accidentally because their broker, I don't know whether it was E-Trade or another broker, didn't recognize that they had it in their account. So they're trying to sell their shares, but because it's like a different ticker or a different account, their sell turns into a short sell. And then you get the short squeeze. It's a mess. Like, look at this. If I try to buy this right now, I mean, this is NCNC, which is a big pre-market spiker. I'll talk about it in a second. I don't want to buy it, but let me just put the price at 2. And so I'll try to buy it. Your account has been restricted to placing closing orders only. And this is because literally tonight or tomorrow, E-Trade is turning into Morgan Stanley. So fortunately, I have Interactive Brokers and I have Fidelity and I have Trade Zero. I have some other brokers, so I'll probably be trading through that in my challenge webinar starting in like a little over an hour from now. It's just a mess. So I know I'm going to get a ton of questions. If you have any issues, any questions about your brokerage, call them, okay? I guarantee you that they've hired extra people today and this weekend to handle all the customer issues. It sucks. I've been using E-Trade for 20 plus years and it's a mess right now. I was fighting with them yesterday because it happened yesterday after hours. I was actually looking to buy ICCT because it started spiking. And I actually was like talking to my friends saying like, I think this can go to 20, 30, 40. I didn't think that it could happen after hours. I thought that it could go 20, 30, 40, either today, Thursday, or Friday. But after hours, it kept going. And I literally could not even trade with E-Trade. And then I was like dealing with them. There's no easy solution. Basically, all of the accounts are going to be ported over. Wait a few business days. It sucks because there's so many plays. But unfortunately, that happens. That's why it's good to have multiple brokers too. All right, so ICCT has gone Supernova. Why? Is it such a good company? No, it's a short squeeze. And again, I will link this blog post, the pitfalls of shorting supernovas. I posted this in April, okay? If you read enough of my blog posts, if you read enough of my, watch lists and video lessons, like forget about this one too. Let me show you this just on my blog. Did I click it? Yeah. I'll post the link to that blog post. Do I not have? I have too many windows open. Oh, there it is. I got a lot of blog posts 10 lessons from Jack Kellogg's $100,000 profit week. I think he's having another $100,000 profit week. Challenge students, he's giving a webinar tomorrow. I forget what time. I don't know. But Jack Kellogg is now giving weekly webinars to challenge students. Yet another reason why you should join my challenge. I had this blog post and video the other day, how to buy the best penny stocks right now. I'll post a link to this. There's going to be 3 links underneath. The pitfalls of shorting supernovas, the link to my conference for the early bird tickets, and how to buy the best penny stocks right now, which are, supernovas like this. And again, I'm sorry if you're going to have E-Trade issues. I got no answer. Call up E-Trade, try to figure it out. But ICCT, when it's spiking like this, it just keeps going. You don't know how high it's going to go. It's funny that I told my friends, I think this can go to 20, 30, 40. I didn't know that it was going to happen after hours and go to 42. I just know it can get out of hand. And this is the dangers of shorting, and I can't repeat it enough. I know you are tired of hearing it. I know people are like, come on, Tim, I get it. I won't short. Some of you don't get it. It takes example after example after example, because this stock doesn't deserve to go from 2 to 40. It doesn't deserve to go up 20 times. They have some news. It's some minor news, but this is because too many people were shorting it because they thought from 2 to 9 or 2 to 8 was overextended. And then it goes up here, and then they're doubling up and tripling up here at 15, and they're like, this has to be the top. It never starts full pandemonium for shorts in the beginning. It's the fact that they take a small position and they average up and average up and average up, and they're like, this has to be the top. This has to be the top. And it never has to be the top. You don't know if 40 is the top. It could go to 80. It could go to 1,000. Let's not forget HKD went to 2,500, okay? So I know there are these short sellers. They're like, well, if you trade small, if you manage your risks, shut up. Just shut up, you dangerous people. Okay? It's like someone saying that well, it's okay that we developed this nuclear weapon. We're just not going to use it. If you play with fire, or in the case of nuclear war, or in the case of short selling, if you play with potential annihilation, you cannot play it safe enough to manage the risks. I literally laugh at these short sellers where they do these huge monologues, and they say, look at all the precautions I've put in. You're risking financial devastation on any short, even if you start with a small amount, because you don't know how high it can go, because it's such a crowded niche. Trust me, I talk to more traders, brokers, market makers than anyone. And this was very interesting to me. When I first started teaching, people said short selling penny stocks was illegal. There were so few short sellers. I have a whole music video called No Borrow, No Cry. I couldn't find shares to short. Now that, frankly, I and my top students have created so much demand because people see our success, now there's so many brokers offering shares to short with locate fees. It's just really dangerous. And I'm sorry to these little shady brokers that offer these special locates. I'm sorry to everyone who's practicing this stuff. It's so dangerous. The good news, some people are like, yeah, wine. The good news is if you're long, it's great. So you'll see me almost every day. I'm tweeting, thank you, short sellers. Thank you for spiking these stocks far more and with far more volume than promoters ever did. In case you didn't notice, promoters have been MIA. They're in rehab, they're in jail. I think some of them are waiting to see how this Atlas trading case plays out. It's been tough for promoters. The good news is short sellers are better promoters. No promoter has ever spiked a stock from 2 to 40 in 2 days. Why? Because if they were promoting it and it did that, guess what? They would probably be investigated. They would probably go to jail. So promoters, when they promote, the last great promotion, what was it? HCNWF, was that it? Yeah, wow. I can't believe I remember the ticker. This is when Jack Kellogg and I were going to Dubai, and this was a promotion from 30 cents to $4 a share, and you can see it followed the 7-step framework to a T. But it only got to volume of 10 million shares a day, and this was the best promo of the past few months. RETO I saw just crash too. This was a good promo. and it went from like $1 to 7, and it fits the 7-step framework. You just don't get that much volume, and you don't get that much upside. Notice it goes from 1 to 7, but it takes like 2 weeks because the promoters and whoever's paying them are selling at every level higher. ICCT is not a promo, it's just a short squeeze. There's no promoters, so there's no like concern about it going up too high. It's just short sellers who are getting squeezed. And I know, again, no names, I'm not trying to like rub salt in the wound, but I know many shorts, and you can see it if they didn't delete their tweets, and you know they're in Discord chat rooms galore, but they were like, hard stop, this has to end here, you know? And I can just imagine, because again, I used to be a short seller, so I can just imagine them looking at the world through these like toxic lenses where they're like, this company sucks, it has to go down, it's a scam. And I can just see them like right here. It's uptrending all day, and I can just see them right here, you know, here at 12, and then it starts fading, and they're just adding here at 10, and they're just waiting for this crack. All they wanted to do is crack 10. All they wanted to do is crack 10, and they think they're going to win. But then it starts uptrending, and their nightmare becomes more real, and then you get the squeeze here, and you're like, some shorts, actually wise shorts, are covering here. I saw, you know, even like 8-figure traders like Lucas. Lucas lost like 50,000 on this. At least he's transparent about it, but he was covering in here. Fortunately, he covered before this. This is what's so crazy. It's so difficult for a stock to go from, you know, 10 to 12 because there's so many shorts trying to hold it down. And then look at this. This is at 4:09 p.m., 12 to 17. I was actually trying to dip buy right here and here. And this is when I found out I'm restricted with E-Trade due to their whole paperwork issue, which sucks. I should have, you know, immediately gone to Interactive Brokers, but I was too busy. Then I was calling E-Trade, and they basically said, wait a few days until it gets figured out. But this is the power of a short squeeze. This is 4:09 p.m. This is 4:10 p.m. Like literally in 1 minute, it goes from the 12s to the 17s. All day, it's barely going up because the shorts are just trying to pound it. They're trying to like hold it underneath their levels, and then they're just giving up. And then even here, I can just imagine some shorts are like, this has to be the top. They're adding, if their average was 8, then their average is 12. And then they're like, wow, it goes up to like 17, 18. This has to be the top. And they're averaging up, and they're like, whoa, got my average to 15. And at this point, the shorts are grateful for these higher prices. And they're like, oh my God, 2 to 15, this is amazing, right? And then they see it downtrending, and in their misguided mindset, they think that this is like the end. And so they're really adding to their shorts here on the way down from 18 down to 15. And they're like getting their average. I'm sure that down here at 15, if they averaged up enough, they might have even been green. They might have had like, you know, if you remember the movie The Perfect Storm, it's based on a true story. We don't know what happened to the fishermen. They all die. FYI, spoiler alert, sorry. There's one moment where they think they're going to escape the storm. And I can almost guarantee you that some shorts who really averaged up, whether it's a small position or a big position, but they got their average to like 15 or 16 because they took advantage of this, thinking that this has to be the top, right? If their average before was like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then they're getting this and they're like, this is a gift from God. I can only imagine the toxic short selling chat rooms. And understand, the reason why I say that these chat rooms are so toxic, because short sellers play follow the leader. All these shorts try to short in unison because they're trying to push the price down. And if they can get enough people to short with them, then they can theoretically push the price down together. It's not like good, it's not ethical, and I'm not a lawyer, but I don't even think that's like legal. I don't want anybody following anybody else. I always say this, I always warn, but people don't listen. But I can just imagine as a former short seller where they're celebrating, whether they're down 50 cents a share or maybe up 50 cents a share or $1, and they think, this is it. This was by far the top. 11 to 18. This has to be the top, right? And then it comes down, giving them some confidence in their thesis. And then slowly but surely, every few minutes, they're like, wait a minute. And then right here, they got to think that it's a double top. Look at this. This is the worst This is the worst minute for a short seller in their life. Right here where they think it's a double top and you can't really see, but there is like 2 minutes of red candles. And they're trying to make it a double top. They're trying so hard. And then they just get blasted. This is at 5:37 p.m. And the top here is 5:45. This is the worst 8 minutes for a short seller. And I can only imagine how many people averaged up, and then obliterated. And then they're covering, maybe they didn't cover here at the top in the 40s, but I guarantee you that some of them covered here in the high 20s and the 30s. And then they see it right here, and they shouldn't have covered. And now pre-market, it's still 15, but it wouldn't surprise me by the end of the day today for it to see single digits. This is a short squeeze. And this kind of action right here is what gets them to average up and really gets them into danger. And I was thinking, like even here, I don't know, I don't remember exactly. I was commenting, I was like, who is buying this? Like, why would you buy this stock right here? In hindsight, you could have and you should have. Congrats to those of you who were longs. I focus on the shorts, but like, this is a gift from God. And if you're a long, right here, I was still on the phone with like E-Trade. I was just swearing at them. It sucks. And they're like, I talked to 4 different people. There's nothing they can do. They're getting acquired by Morgan Stanley. I don't even know if they're going to have a job. But like, I wish in hindsight, hindsight is 2020. In hindsight, I should have bought this. And I should have recognized that it was a giant short squeeze. And some of you say, oh, Tim, like your alerts are too quick. I can't follow you. Good. Never follow me. Never follow anybody. But recognize that this thing happened from 19 to 42 inside of 10 minutes. Okay? Whether you buy 500 shares or 1,000 shares, going back to what I said in the beginning, big accounts cannot partake. Look at the volume here. There's still a lot of volume. I mean, it's trading like 100,000 shares every minute. But like, you can't buy 1 million shares very easily. And you can't get out of 1 million shares very easily. But you can buy 500 shares. You can buy 1,000 shares. You can buy 100 shares and double your money inside of 10 minutes. That's the beauty of short squeezes. I wasn't trading this. I was trading NAOV. But I wanted to talk about that because we had the short squeeze. My trades, and this is the cool thing with these short squeezes, even if you mess up, you get another shot. I know that it's scary. Many of you are just seeing this for the first time. But if you ever miss any of these plays, you get other shots. Look at me. I'm taking small losses on eBet, small losses on AXLA. AXLA, actually, before I talk about NAOV, let me talk about AXLA. There's so many plays right now. AXLA, again, this is a short squeeze where I was buying this and I was right that it could keep going, but it's very, very choppy. And, pre-market, I guess I'll do a longer video maybe this weekend. Too many stocks to talk about, and I got to give my challenge webinar in a little bit. But you see what happens with AXLA? This is right at 8 a.m. It's downtrending from 47 down to 40. And then in 1 minute, look at this, or 2 minutes, it goes from 41 to 55. This is a short squeeze. Look at this. This is a short squeeze. Whenever you see these big spikes, it's not that there's always news. It's not that like people are buying it. It's some short where they're trying to prevent something from going up too much. Whether their stop losses are going off, again, whether it's one of these toxic chat rooms where everyone plays follow the leader and the leader is covering, and so everyone else follows, and then it turns out to be a fake out. Look at this. 1 fake out, 2 fake outs, 3 fake outs. And now look at it pre-market today. Dead. Back down to the 20s. And I was trying to dip buy. I lost $100, but I was trying to dip buy it pre-market. Sometimes you'll see me dip buy it or try to dip buy it pre-market. Trying at 41. It was like right in here. And I thought that we could have another one of these spikes. As it turned out, I should have bought it at 32 on this panic. This is why it's tough to dip buy just random gradual consolidation. This was gradual, right? And I was buying it at 41, not because it was any support, just because I thought that it could do another quick spike. And if I was wrong, I would cut losses. I lost like $0.015. That's fine, losing $100. But for me, I'm trying to partake in one of these if I'm buying a short squeeze stock. In this dip buy, actually, when it dropped from 39 down to 32 in a few minutes, that is what led to this short squeeze from 32 up to 44. I mean, this is a nearly 50% gain, and this was at what, 9:32 in the morning, and this was 9:43. So in 10 minutes, again, you have these 10-minute windows where the shorts can really get squeezed, even if it doesn't last. Let's go to NAOV, because this was a beautiful short squeeze. And again, I lost on this. So I got out of AXLA, it wasn't uptrending. So I was like, okay, let me move to the next big percent gainer. If there's one that's over, there's always another one, or at least right now there's another one coming up. This was me buying it right near the open. And I said, buying this low float spiker on the dip, positive news, STT breaking news alert, be careful, moves fast, goals to make 5 to 10%. And this was right in here. So it had already spiked to 290. It came down to 180, back to 250, and I was buying it in here. And it looked like there was enough volume. This is a low float stock. I thought that it could bounce. It tried to bounce right here to 227, and then it came down. And I was like, you know, when you're buying near the market open, sometimes you just buy into a brick wall, which is what I thought happened. I said, I bought into a brick wall of sellers, no thanks, cutting losses fast. And literally, this might have been one of the worst sells because I sold it at like 9:36 a.m. I sold it like right here on this failed spike, okay? It failed to hold the spike, and I was like, screw it, too fast. I got to cut losses because it's still up a lot on the day. I understand, like, it's about perspective. People are like, how do you know when to cut losses? You never really know. This stock was $1.40, and this isn't a good company. So for me, it was like, should I cut losses or not? I wasn't sure it was going to hold too, so I just cut it. And I was like, screw it, you know, losing $200, $100, not the end of the world. I have so many 1%, 2%, 3% losses. People were making fun of me because like within a minute of me selling, like this was maybe not a minute, it was like 5 minutes later, and it went to 3. So I was dead on with my mindset. I was dead on with my trade, but I cut losses. I don't regret it. I said I don't regret it if you look at my commentary later, because why? I knew that there'd be another shot. And then I had a really nice second time. I said I underestimated it, played it too safe before. Second time, goals to sell in the 3s, moves fast. So this was a nice profit, and yet again, I sold too soon. So I'm buying it on a dip. It had already gone to the 330s, and I'm buying it into this choppiness, okay? And right here, this was this little failed bounce, and it failed right at like 296, and I was like, oh no, I got to play it safe. I knew that my gain was bigger than my loss. This is the thing that I have a problem with. I know I disagree with my millionaire students. My millionaire students, again, are trading with bigger size. They're in a different part of their journey. They can have more patience. They can let the chart play out. Can you see my ankles?
No.
I'm like scratching a bug bite right now. I don't want to encourage bad behavior, but it feels so good to scratch this bug bite. I have so many bug bites. I've been in Bali in Africa. I haven't even posted about everything. I'm sorry. This one, I knew that my profit was much bigger than my 2 recent losses. So my millionaire students say, turn off your profit and loss column, focus on the chart. That works for them with a big account because they're trading with a big account. They're trying to be patient. They don't want to exit a trade too quickly and then miss out on a big move. When you have a small account, you cannot afford to be patient. You must be meticulous. You must trade like a sniper, taking $200 losses, taking $100 losses. It's fine. This trade is a great example of me playing it too safe yet again. I bought it on this dip here in the 270s, and it tried to get to 3, and I thought that it could get back to 330, and it failed. And so I said, no. Literally, this was a matter of seconds, and I sold it right at the top of this little failed bounce. But again, because I'm looking at my specific profit and loss on the day, I knew that I was okay, and I knew that I was green on the day, okay? And I said, wiped away my earlier losses and more. Maybe it goes more, but I'm emotional on this one considering how bad I messed up earlier. I didn't even lose that much earlier, but I'm glad I typed this because that just shows you my mental state. Because when you sell too soon and you protect yourself, whether you take a small gain or a small loss and it goes up huge, you feel like crap. I felt like crap when I picked the hottest stock in the entire market and I had a loss. That's a crappy feeling. But with these supernovas, you get multiple chances. And so I took this one. I don't even regret selling it right here when it went higher, and it actually went to like 370. I don't regret it because I made myself richer and it was a good lesson, and I wiped away that loss from my mental state. You want to wipe away previous losses. I know that we're only human and we get influenced by previous losses, but every trade is a new trade. It's a new opportunity. Then I followed that up with another solid trade and another too early sell. This was at 10:30, like right in here. And I was buying this dip. I'm buying this. I got a really good entry. I'm really good at dip buying. I bought it right here near the lows, and I sold it like right here in a few minutes. And I wasn't sure if it was going to break this key resistance. It looks like it went straight up, but it didn't. It actually had some resistance in the 330s, and I was like, screw it. I'm out. I have another nice profit. I said I wanted more of a bounce, but it's looking stuffy. And literally like within seconds of me selling, it goes to 4. So I underestimated it once, I underestimated it twice, I underestimated it 3 times. But I played very safe. Why? Because this is a piece of crap stock, okay? I know people who are like, come on, Tim, be more aggressive. Look at this. You can see the trend change. It still looked like it could bounce, but right here they did a financing, same day, the scumbags, okay? Right here, the whole momentum is gone, and now pre-market, the momentum is gone. You can trade these volatile stocks, you can screw up, you can sell too soon, and you can still bank. You can make money and you can learn. None of these trades are great. All 3 of these trades, look at this, okay? I'm making over $1,000 trading extra safe. And this is what I want for you guys. Some people say, how do you trade these crazy stocks? It's scary. I understand. I've also been doing this 20 plus years and I'm still scared. And I'm still trading small. And obviously I trade for charity, so it's a little different, but I want to donate more to charity. But this is outstanding examples of safe trading. Leave a comment. Congratulate me. Say, these are great examples of safe trading. Hold on, let me find this other example. I got to go to this other page because a few students did better. Hold on, where is this? The beautiful thing about teaching is it's not just me. So those are 3 specific, really safe trades. And I'm doing like a cheers to all the short sellers. And I say, thank you, short sellers. Be grateful for promoters and short sellers. People usually hate promoters and they hate shorts. I'm just grateful for the opportunity. Let me show you some of my students who banked. Sins is in challenge chat. He's working the graveyard shift, trading in the day. He had 4 to 5 hours of sleep since Monday. And understand, this is on a Wednesday. So he's only getting like 2 hours, an hour of sleep, losing his mind. Made $392 on 300 shares of NAOV. Made over $1 a share. Fantastic. Good example of someone trading with a small account. Also, I got to give a shout out to Babak. Babak, 2 days in a row, I didn't even see this. I'm sorry, Babak. He nailed the morning panic on OKYO, but I'm even prouder of him. He's a lifetime challenge student. Babak in at 204, right near my first entry, and he had by far much more patience selling at 388. Was that near the top? I think it was near the top. That's beautiful. And this is the beauty of trading with a small account, okay? Like, you really have to do this. And Nathan even asked, what gave you the conviction? Did he respond? Tim Grittani sets your lower risk level. Yeah. So use Tim Grittani's lessons, use Jack Kellogg's lessons, use my lessons. But those of you with small accounts, focus on volatile trades like this. If you mess up or if you're too scared to trade, at least you can learn. And don't feel like you have to master this stuff. I've been doing this 20 plus years. I sold right here. How crazy is this? I could not have mistimed it any worse. But that's the gift and the curse of trading safely. And this is a great example of me sticking with it, staying safe and then profiting nicely. And this is why I love the process more than money. Like, again, I know traders who trade big and they post their screenshot. Look at me, I made 10, 20, 30 grand in a minute or in a day. And then newbies want to do that too, but you learn the wrong lessons. I would rather you trade small. I get like these challenges from traders being like, let's have a challenge off. I promise I can make more money than you in a day. I'm sure you can, but can you teach the process so that newbies take good trades, keep their stress levels and their risk levels low or as low as possible? And can this process be replicable? That's what I'm most proud of. It's not about the total amounts of money. Like I said, I want to donate more to charity, but when you have scary stocks like this, I'm not going to trade aggressively. I'm not going to trade big. And you, as a newbie or you with a small account, you should not trade big or aggressively either. Trading big and aggressively, even if you get lucky, even if you win, you're setting yourself up for some very dangerous habits. I would rather you be conservative, get big, get more aggressive later on in your career. I am the vampire teacher. I will condemn myself to teaching newbies for life. Because again, you are the, unloved segment in the market, in the world. Wall Street doesn't care about you because they can't make a lot of money off you. Promoters, they just lure you in with fake promises and fake companies. I want you to learn to take small gains with limited risk. It is so important. And I say short sellers are the new promoters because, again, promoters, you have to understand, like, let me just make one last point. HCNWF was a classic promo. When it was going up, the promoters were saying this is the next big thing. And people believed it. And remember, I used to expose so many promoters. It's a lie. It's not the next big thing. It's just the current promo. And this fit the 7-step framework to a T. I sold this one too soon too. I was buying it on the first green day and Jack and I were going to Dubai and I was like, nope, I'm taking profits. I don't want the stress. He held overnight. I wasn't sure what time we would land in Dubai. As it turned out, we actually had time at the market open and Jack sold his remaining shares. He bought it in the 50s and sold it in the 80s. And he sold too soon too. We didn't know that this was going to be the biggest promo. But the promoters were saying that this is the next biggest thing in the world. And then because the promoters are getting paid for like a 1 week, 2 week promotional campaign, they make it look like the biggest thing in the world. No different than short sellers saying ICCT is the biggest scam, it's the biggest pump, it's gonna come down, and they're trying to push it down. And because they're lying, because they're not giving their followers the full story, they don't know about the risk. And understand, short sellers aren't necessarily evil. They don't necessarily mean it to be bad like the promoters do. Like promoters are evil. Promoters know that their pump and dumps are going to collapse. Short sellers do believe in what they're saying. And again, this is what's crazy. Most of the time these stocks do come down eventually. They're just unaware of the risks. You have all these newbies, all these, like whether they're a new millionaire or some short sellers, they haven't even made $1 million and they think that they're like, God's gift because they think that they have this system where if you manage your risk, you're fine because you're going to win more times than not. They don't understand that all it takes is one, just one, as I went over earlier in this video, like ICCT, just one play to blow you up and you lose all your money and more. And whether you cover here in the 30s or the 40s, or your broker gives you a margin call. I don't know, these shady short selling chat rooms and these shady short selling brokers. I don't know the rules, okay? All I know is that when you're shorting this and there's this groupthink, no different than promoter groupthink. Like promoters have Reddit threads, they have WhatsApp groups, they have Telegram channels, they're on social media, they have chat rooms, Discord chat rooms. It's all trying to cheerlead to get a stock higher. Short sellers, very much the same. They're all trying to, not cheerlead, but they're trying to promote the idea that these companies will crash. And because most of these companies do crash, the short sellers gain a big following. And it's like, oh, wait a minute, this is bad. Oh, look at the fundamentals. And it all makes sense. But as I've been warning for months now, it's not worth the risk reward for newbies. Some millionaire trader, they might be able to average up and outlast the squeeze. Newbies cannot. People with small accounts cannot. If you want to trade these, go long. Whoa, this thing's trading all over the place. I'm filming this pre-market. I got to start my challenge webinar in a little bit. Look at this, 1690 by 18. Like it's literally, I would not short this stock. I don't care if it goes to 2. I don't care if it goes to 1. I don't care if it gets halted. It's not worth the risk. Like, look at this. This also could be E-Trade. The price is all over the place and the level 2 is all messed up. Welcome to E-Trade. E-Trade by Morgan Stanley. Fantastic. We suck. That's the reality of this situation. So anyways, I'm going to post a bunch of links. I have to get going to prepare for this webinar. I'm going to post a link to how to buy the best penny stocks, which I think you should. I'm going to post a link. Where was that other blog post? I had another blog post about short selling, the dangers of short selling, in case you want to know. There's too many tabs open. And then I'll post a link to the conference because you only have a little time to get the early bird special. But so much volatility. Congrats if you're learning. Congrats if you're earning. There's so many plays. And guess what? You don't have to trade every day. You don't have to have all these plays if you don't want to. Just learn. But I'm just glad that we have so many opportunities. I'll see you guys in chat. Challenge students webinar in a few minutes by the time I post this.